Hey, what's up? Um, I should try and figure this out another time. But it's kind of close, so I might just go for it. The other thing is it's running off my phone, so I think it won't last very long. 290, it's like a little special thing that you can do sometimes. There we go. Look at that. That's professional. Look at that. That's just phenomenal. Let me just... thank you for the subscription. Okay. Yeah, are people doing this little keyboard view? Dude, that's so weird. That looks so weird. I'll put you here. I could also do like a slightly transparent keyboard. Let's see. Add a chroma key? No. Add a color key? Is that how you do it? My God. That's sick. That is so sick. I'm kind of into that. Uh, you can smooth it, right? There's like a smooth. Yeah, look at that. Sweet. That's awesome. My phone's gonna die though. Maybe if I use like a brick charger and just tape the brick charger to the. It'll probably reach down here actually. All right. Oh, that's just so sweet. Okay, use Luma key. Okay. So yesterday I made this list of, well, actually it's been a list on my computer for a while. I just add stuff to it whenever I notice something in Ableton that doesn't work properly. I don't have Luma key, I have chroma key. Is that better? Let's see. No, that's... Hi. I don't think that's working as well. Anyway, let's just turn off the key. It might be better with the key, but for now we'll do that. It'll get annoying once you want to see more plugins, but I'll just try and scroll over so it's always in this space here. All right, so yeah, I've got Ableton 11 here, And last night I went through my list to check to see how many things were fixed. And I also had the list from Ableton 9. So a lot of the things were fixed in 10, especially 10.1. And, but yeah, of course, there's a couple things that are still weird. Also, I've just been like barely using it so far, but I've found a couple like weird bugs. So I think what I'm going to do is open up the list on my other screen and we'll just go through. Also, I can see chat on my main screen now, which I think is a nice setup. And I was thinking like maybe this isn't enough space to work. But then I remembered that like most of the time I have the crash window open. Like I guess this isn't the crash window, but like usually I'm working in the crash windows like this and I don't notice like the entire time. So this should be enough space. What is which setup? The layout? Ooh, that's gnarly. There's a bit of black coffee in this mug, I guess. So the green tea is like mixed with it. It's like hot, weak coffee or something. Why don't I just open the list on my computer? It's probably the best way. All right, so the other thing I want to do is edit this down and send it to Ableton so that hopefully they'll watch it and some of these things might be fixed. So I have to keep in mind that I want to edit this down because I'm so bad at like giving myself like the right phrases. I'll just start streams and like barely describe what I'm doing. So every time I try to edit a stream down into like a short version, I never have said enough to make it make any sense. But today we will try that out. Right. So here we go. Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at Ableton 11. Okay. It's not even specifically Ableton 11. It's just what Ableton, it's the problems in Ableton 10 that are still same problems. And if you guys bring up, like, I'd love to hear, like, if I just miss something that it's bugging everybody and I forget to include it, or maybe something that I have no idea is a bug, but I'll try to put them all in this video, which will be sweet. Okay, so I need to think in my head how I want to edit this down. All right, let's see. I think I have enough to edit down so far, so I'm gonna start with the first column here, which the other bugs I wouldn't even call. Most of these are features that I want to have added, but half is just like some stuff that's really annoying, and yeah, so half annoying, half cool features that I want, and then just these three are things that are, in my opinion, undisputable bugs. So we'll start with the first one here, which is, this is something I noticed just in Ableton 11 beta. If you have a sample with warp on and you're warp stretching using shift drag, it is shift, yeah. After you let go of mouse click, the cursor's like sticky. I don't know I don't know if you can hear my mouse, but I'm letting go and it's still attached for like up to like a couple seconds. So I'm sure this one's like, I noticed right away, so I'm pretty sure this will just be fixed. I don't think this will stay in. I have a feeling just about everybody will discover this bug because it's like infuriating. Yeah. All right, the next one. I think, do you think I can edit that down? Or did I do a shit job? I don't know. Maybe I should try again, and just in case. Well, maybe not. No. I have to do a good job of this, so let me put my brain on. Okay, let's do that again. If I can get this first one in a good editable vibe, then the whole list should work a lot better. All right, so the first bug is stretching warped samples. So shift dragging a sample, the cursor stays on after you release the mouse button. So right now I release and the cursor, or like the drag stays on. All right. Next one is alt dragging short samples when zoomed out is broken. This is in, I should put specify. I think it's simpler only, but it might be sampler as well. So I'll show you what I mean. Actually, let me get like an audio file, something long. So, oh no, this is not for simpler and sampler. I'm losing it. This is for the sample editor. So in the sample editor, I'm just sorry, I'm repeating myself. If I ever repeat myself, it's just because I want to edit it properly. Oh, there's another beta released? Okay, yeah. I mean, most of these, after that first one with the alt drag, the rest is just stuff that's persistent from Ableton 10, which I'm pretty sure will just not be fixed in 11 yet. Okay, so if you have a long sample in the sample editor and you shorten the sample small enough, when you're zoomed in, it's okay when you alt drag the sample around. But at a certain zoom level, it starts to get glitchy. And then at like a fully zoomed out level, it barely works at all. There's a point where like it kind of works. You have to like tug of war the clip over, and then the other way is fast. But yeah, this, and then yeah, at some point it just moves to the left when you try to drag right even. Let me see if I can get that to work. It's super weird. Just, yeah, this drives me crazy. And one workaround is just by, if you have another clip after it, like this, and you extend the edge so it's like tucking under the clip. So it's still short, but it's actually like tucked under. Or I think if I drag this one, yeah. So it's like tucked under. This is another glitchy thing in Ableton, is like clips that are tucked underneath each other. I don't think they're supposed to be able to do that at all, so it just like breaks the program. Like if I drag this out, it's there, but if I drag it this way, it crops it. I don't know what's really happening. It's really weird. Okay, so back to, I feel like I can do an okay job of editing this. Or maybe I just send them the VOD and it's me for like half the stream talking about editing it down. Okay, so yeah, this can tuck under, and then when you're alt dragging this short sample around, it works because the handles aren't right next to each other like this, which is super broken. Anyways, so that's what I usually do to work around that issue, but on warp mode, you can't drag the end of a clip underneath the next clip. So the workaround only works for unwarped samples. Okay, next. The MIDI velocity effect on gate mode cuts out at 127. This is super annoying for my set when I'm playing live. One of the things that I do is I put like one shots on a drum rack for push, and the push doesn't have a threshold. Correct me, maybe they fixed it recently because I haven't played live in like a year, but there's no threshold settings for the push, so the buttons are really sensitive, and it makes playing impossible if you're trying to just like do like an MPC thing. Like if you're just finger drumming on a push, like if you just like place your hand on the triggers, they go off. So what I do is I use a MIDI effect velocity on gate mode, and I set the in range and then correct the curve back to normal. So that way it's not triggering below 57 or like whatever. I think usually I use 64. And the problem with this, if I can get the sample to trigger. So let me set this higher because the keyboard is different than the push. But basically I don't want to trigger it at this velocity, but I want to trigger it at this velocity. But for some reason the gate mode on this, if you hit a full, oh shit, it's not working anymore. Okay, it's only sometimes maybe. Oh, this is getting embarrassing. Huh. Okay. I don't take it back because I've experienced this before, and then what I usually have to do to fix it is make another velocity and set the out range one below the. Anyways, when you trigger full velocity trigger, usually it doesn't trigger. Damn it. Okay, well, that one doesn't work for me this time. Let me check in Ableton 10. Maybe they did fix it, but I definitely wouldn't have kept it on this list if that was the case, but let's see. This is terrible beverage. I feel like somebody's done it before, like called a dirty matcha latte or something. It kind of reminds me of that. Okay, so, wow. Okay. Oh shit. I'm scared. Oh god. I clicked the wrong audio driver. Okay. This is going to be a pain to edit. Okay. I hope they fix this. Okay, so it's not working. This was working not working. It's working now, but it wasn't working last night when I went through the list. I don't know what breaks it. I wish I could get it to happen on stream though. That's frustrating. Okay, well, I guess we skip this one. That's so annoying. Maybe I'm not hitting full velocity, because this is 126, which should cut out. Let me do it in MIDI editor. Maybe that'll... Yeah, okay. What if the whole list is a train wreck like this? I hope not. Oop. Okay, well, it's working, so we'll skip that one for now. All right, has anybody noticed this? When you try to search for something, and the word is within, for instance, playing in this. If you tried to search playing, you wouldn't be able to find that file. And this has always been super annoying because, especially with these vinyl samples, unless the S is capitalized, I can't find any string samples from the sample pack. So yeah, that's why all the string is capitalized, but a lot of them don't have a capital S, so I can't find those samples unless I use like Windows file search. Why would that be a feature? For instance, like the word suspense, I don't think I could even get suspense because there's a 1 there. Let's see. I might be able to get the suspense. No, that one disappeared, I think. Just capital S suspense. I mean, it does do substring. Like I can get the word swell, which is technically substring, but it's just looking for the capital S. I guess that speeds up search times. But yeah, that's super annoying. Okay. All right. Okay, so this one, if I have a project open in the browser, so if I expand this, I have to wait for it to load for some reason. I don't even know why you have to wait for it to load. Maybe that's what they should fix. Like just an index of the track list, so it's not loading the actual... I don't know really if there's a workaround for that. But anyways, if you have a ALS file expanded in the browser and you waited like 20 seconds, sometimes more, like if I open up my live set, it's so dense that like it takes 5 or 10 minutes to open in the browser. Yeah, if it's open like this and you now navigate to a different place and then go back to that, you have to wait for it to load again. And I think the best way to fix this is to have ALS files collapse when you leave the browser, so it doesn't have to keep it loaded. But yeah, especially with the live set, if I accidentally have it expanded and I click back on the folder, it's like it's such a piss off because I have to sit there for like 5 minutes again. Yeah, that one. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but that always bugs me. Okay. Oh, I needed a title for this section. I don't think I'm going to remember to come here when I'm editing it, but we'll try. All right, so next. Okay. Next, I want to go through issues with the file browser, starting with this. think that'll work. All right, so this one is lock contents, or at least an undo move or undo delete. So when I'm working fast enough, when I'm just like flying through samples, a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, sometimes I drag folders into other folders and I just see like a flash of it, but I know that I did it. And I don't really, and I guess it updated the folder modification date, but I think in most situations, it's hard to see that. Anyways, so I just don't like that you can do that by accident, especially with like weird things like dragging between hard drives. Like you can drag a folder into like an external drive. Oh geez, how do I cancel escape? At least if you don't want to have like a lock folder contents feature on for instance, like on this context menu, you could have a lock contents. At least an undo move or an undo delete, like Windows Explorer. Because even after a move in Ableton, if I go to the Explorer window, I can't undo the move in Windows Explorer either. So I think it was this one, right, that I dragged in. Okay. I think. I know that a lot of my sample library is messed up like that just from like, because it's so easy to do. Like you actually, I don't even know, you can't even move, like as soon as you click and drag a folder, it has to drop into another folder. There's no other like option. So, all right. I think I did an okay job of that one. Okay, import, master, and return tracks from projects. So it would be nice, especially when projects get corrupted or you're just trying to like fix a problem, to be able to see, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It would be nice to be able to drag the master from a project and replace your current master. And return tracks, which I think is a lot easier to do. Just to be able to see return tracks is so important, I think. Especially when tracks that you're importing from projects rely on like specific return tracks. Okay, next is refresh folder to load new files. Right, when a file updates in the browser, it has to rescan everything, and for some reason, the downloads folder is the last one that gets fixed or gets scanned or whatever. So it would be nice if there was a refresh and you could just like force refresh specific places, so you don't have to wait for this to like re-index your entire computer. Okay, double clicking folder could clear search results without resetting the scroll bar. Sorry, I was just thinking about how I didn't do a announcement on Discord that I was live. But I think everyone's joined in, but I'll just do another one just in case. Live, by the way, since 30 minutes ago. Okay. Double clicking folder could clear this. Okay, so the stuff that gets lower down on this list. Oh, geez. Yeah, the stuff that's lower down is like more features that I think would just be nice to have. I find when I'm searching for a sample, and I'm in something like this. I guess there's better, let's see, kick would be probably a good one. Yeah, it's I notice this all the time when I'm in this folder and I find the kick that I want and I want to hear the other samples from this pack. I have to clear the search results and then the scroll bar resets and I have to like scroll up to find which folder was expanded to get the other samples. So just as a little hidden feature for me, it would be nice if you double click on this folder and it just expands the folder and clears the search results. Something like that. I don't know, something, some kind of way around. At least don't reset the scroll bar. Like it should, the scroll bar should snap to whatever folder was highlighted when the search results were there. Thanks. I got a haircut for the first time in like 2.5 years or something like that. The last haircut I got, this woman in Japan tied my hair in a ponytail and shaved the sides just as like an experiment or something. And I don't mind too much, but I was just like, that's probably the last haircut I'm going to get for a while. And then I just grew up my hair for like a couple years. And then, yeah, starting the beginning of this year, I started shaving it. But we're shooting some videos, so I didn't want to look like a cleaning device. So, yeah, I got my hair fixed a little bit. All right. Yeah, I'll include that in the as one of the things I need fixed. Okay. Search commands. Oh yeah, imagine this. I should really do the features that I want after the bugs. How did I break this? Why isn't this hiding? What? Shit, that's annoying. Well, I guess my auto hide taskbar. Oh my god, what's going on? Okay. Is that lined up right? What happened? Oh my god. Welcome to Windows 10. Okay. I think that's good enough. It's nice having chat on screen. Check that out. Okay. So, the next thing on the list. What was it? Oh yeah, search commands. So, I would love to be able to search for, say, violin, and also be able to specify that I don't want any of these sustain samples. So to be able to be like minus sustain or something, or some kind of like advanced command system that nobody uses but is implemented. Yeah, I think you can do, I don't know why I put the add thing on my list, because you can definitely do this in this just by adding a space. That's not too important. I probably won't even include that in the video, but it would be nice to get rid of certain samples. Yeah, kind of. I feel like Google has a certain command system. All right, next up. That's no, that's not the end. So now we're going into clip preview notes. So lately, people have been collaborating using mostly Listen To, but also there's Restream and a couple others. And it's sweet to be able to send audio, like stream audio directly to someone's browser. But the problem is they can't hear the preview stuff, especially even streamers that stream with OBS. And I feel like streamers use Restream to send Ableton audio to OBS. And the problem, yeah, is that the file previews don't go through the master. So this stuff is inaudible. And that ties into the next one, which is it would be nice if it goes through the master and there's a volume knob on the file preview window and not connected with the metronome volume. I think it's ridiculous to have them as one slider here. Because if you want to set like a reasonable metronome volume, it's usually like -20. And then you can't hear any of your files when you're previewing them. And so you end up setting it back to 0. And then when you turn on the metronome again, it's like deafening. And yeah, if you have the, also another thing is like, it would be nice if you could send it to a return. So if one of these returns was like file preview, and then you could put a compressor on the return bus, and then you don't blast your ears out between samples, or just a normalization option so that there's not a huge discrepancy between the volume from, say, like, I don't know, a mastered song and like a really quiet string sample. And lastly, for the clip preview, I have seek for longer samples. And I was looking at this. This is crazy. If you highlight over this, it says, click in the tab to make playback jump to that point in the file. It was like they added it, but it never worked. Unless somebody can tell me that the tab is something else, but you can't click in this tab. What you done to me? It doesn't work. And it also says with raw enabled, but I think they got rid of the raw button. Control, I've tried everything. Control click, shift click. None of this works. And it's super annoying if you're like trying to find a part in a song. You can do it. It only ever works if the sample is warped. So as in like you warp the sample and then save it. How does that work? You guys are making me so sad that you can do it. What the hell? Are you guys all in OS X? Anybody in Windows can do it? It definitely has an ALS file. It might be that I have like warp turned off in settings. Like the, what is it? This one, auto or warped one shot. So if I turn on that stuff, maybe that fixes it. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, is it still a valid note? Oh, there's my raw button. Okay, well, I learned something today then. That's sweet. I feel like you should still be able to seek without... wait, if this is turned off... I just hate this setting, the auto warping. Maybe auto is the best setting. Let's see if it still works. No. Okay, so you need to have auto warp long samples on. Yeah, okay. Okay, I learned something, I guess. So what happens if I drag this in? That's super annoying. I don't want it to auto warp. Whatever. I'll live with that to be able to do this. Okay, well, we can skip that one, I guess. um, oh yeah, I don't know if there's a workaround for this. This is why I put it down lower. But when you, especially if you're in splice samples, this is when I notice it the most when I'm like checking out the samples I downloaded. When you preview a file, it creates a ALS file, or I guess what is it called? ASD file. And then that changes the modification date of the folder the sample's in. This one's stupid. I shouldn't even include this. But I notice it when when there's multiple folders inside. Let's see if I can get one. And you like preview a folder, but then it jumps to the top. I don't know. It's stupid. I shouldn't be even be on this list. I'm losing confidence as I go through this list and find out that most of them are just bullshit. Okay. Oh yeah, more than 7 collections. I think we just need to start a change.org for this, probably. But 7's not enough. I'm like, I guess I could get rid of my sound shifter collection, but I need this because I don't want to have to I don't want any time between clicking the collection and being able to drag sound shifter on the master. Yeah, but more collections would be sweet. Okay. Oh yeah, collection rules. I think this is a cool idea. Instead of like manually adding things to a collection, it could just be a search result. So you just like define the collection as like string or like kick, and then like the collection would just be all your kick drums. And I guess it would have to be more specific than just kick if it were to be useful, because it's pretty easy to type kick. But you could do like kick dot wave soft. I don't know. And then you have all your soft kicks in a collection. Yep. That, I don't know if I'll include that either. All right, moving on. This is plugin specific notes. So especially, do you believe XPSs are better than MacBooks? Price wise, for sure. Like this laptop was like $2,000 back in 2016. I don't know. I really don't even like laptops very much. If I could, I would. Oh, that's what opens that. All right, stop mentioning me. I don't want my taskbar to stay open. What was I saying? Oh, geez. That's sad. Laptops, I don't know. I would just build your own computer inside a little flight case and like glue a monitor to it. But like, for instance, I had to replace the battery on this laptop, and it was a lot easier than I think if it was a MacBook. And certain things are just, I don't know. I like Windows a lot because you can like tear it apart and like edit the registry and stuff. So okay. I think it blanks out the audio because it's moving the file and then re-scanning the file to create the waveform, I think. Because I've noticed that, but usually the waveforms like load after I save for the first time. They like do a load and then all the waveforms appear again. But maybe it's broken for you. All right, so the first thing is, yeah, so being able to deactivate plugins and not just turn them off. The on-off buttons drive me crazy because it's just like a bypass. And I think actual disable would be so useful in live sets where you have like Serum running and you don't want it running the whole time. Being able to like actually deactivate and activate the plugin. Maybe not Serum because it would have to load, but like things like Sound Shifter, when you put it on the master, there's a like 250 millisecond delay, something like that. Oh, 157. Okay, it's enough to drive me crazy though. And when you turn off Sound Shifter, there's still that 157 millisecond delay on the master. It would be nice to have a disable and be able to keybind to disable. And same goes for like drum racks. I don't know if you could really do it in Ableton if you have a big drum rack, because it would have to like unload and load it, so it might not be real time, but still I find it so weird that like if you have a on off button, it's really not doing anything. It's just like, okay, so that's that. Oh, EQ3. How many people know about the EQ3 thing? I feel like I found out about it while on stream, but this is so funny to me. Let me like repitch this so it doesn't get flagged. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you, let me put the stream song on. So anybody know? Oh, Cactus Flower. Yeah. I feel like some people use it as like as an effect. Anyway, so let me think about editing this. EQ3 with all the knobs at 0 actually affects the signal. So this is how I first figured out about it, just like 2 chains and inverting the phase, because like something just sounded off about it whenever I'd use it. So yeah, I tested it like this. So this really, like if this was an EQ8, the phase would cancel out and you only hear the difference because the phase is inverted. So it's a good way to like test if something's affecting the signal. So here's EQ3. And I'm just moving where the band lines are, and you can hear it's affecting the signal. That's like the first thing I noticed, but then somebody said that like people for an effect will stack EQ3s. So check this out. It's super weird. Yeah, I think the highs get less delay than the lows, so you get this like sound as the highs play before the lows. It just like destroys the signal after a while though. I mean, there's a lot on there, but and I think if we set different band settings before this, we could get more exaggerated effect from the plugin, because I had the low frequency way up. So if I just set them like this, I think we'll get some more shit happening. There we go. But just using one is like brutal, I find. If you really listen for it, you can hear that effect. So I just stay away from this at all costs. There was a time when I was using it as like a band splitter. So I'd turn off the mids and highs and then turn off the lows on 2 chains. And that allowed me to like apply delay or reverb just to like the top half. And after a while I started realizing like the artifacts from EQ3 are just too intense to do this properly. So now I'll use like FabFilter, because their brick wall, the brick wall on FabFilter is awesome. All right, that's that one. Yeah, so if you're using EQ3s, don't. All right. This one just bugs the hell out of me. If you have a lower high pass filter on EQ8 and you want to automate the low pass on and off, it'll create a click. Oh, well, that wasn't very noticeable. There we go. Well, maybe that's not it. There we go. Okay, that's for sure. That's for sure. That's some slang, I think some people could. Can we all start saying that's for sure? All right, so here is the click I'm talking about when automating the high pass on EQ8. And the weird thing is, if I were instead to automate the on-off of the entire EQ8, it wouldn't do this. So that bugs the hell out of me. What I end up doing is like automate. I don't know what I usually do, but I think I automate the high pass just to like. I think this works if you do this. I think it's introducing like phase distortion or something. It's got to be doing something bad. But you don't get that click, so that's kind of the workaround for now. But I think I talked to somebody at Ableton once, and they said that shouldn't happen. All right, so next one. Oh, allow 0 milliseconds on all delay plugins, please. This, where is it? I'm not used to this folder hierarchy. All right. This should be able to go to 0 for sure. Especially for things like Haas delays. I just don't use it because I don't want to. It's like negligible, the 1 millisecond delay, but it just bothers me enough that I usually default. Get rid of my taskbar. What is going on? Okay, that's not going away, I guess. Yeah, I usually use quick Haas for this to get channel delay in like short amounts. Yeah, 0 would be nice just to create like 0 on this one and 8 on this one and not have to do 9. So yeah, that'd be sweet. And that goes for this taskbar thing is driving me crazy. I think I have to do that. There we go. Okay, I think I figured it out. So that's that. I think I'm done with that one. But yeah, all the like echo, I'd like to see 0 milliseconds. Or at least sub 1. Like, why not 0.5 milliseconds? Also, a nice thing would be able to right click and turn it to samples instead of time so that you can see it in amount of samples. Yeah, that's just one thing. Okay, next is option to kill feedback loops and reverb tails when transport stops. I don't know if this drives anyone else crazy, but if I have like a really long reverb tail on something, the workaround for me, is to use a gate. So what I'll do is like get like a white noise. Let's see. This isn't white noise, but it'll work. No, it won't. That's too glitchy. No, that doesn't work either. Tape noise. Okay. Yeah, I'll usually use tape noise and sidechain it to a gate. Dynamics, yeah. So sidechain. Basically, every time you press pause, you're dealing with this. And it's like really hard to work. And it's actually a lot worse, I think, for delays with long feedbacks. It's like, and if you're not really aware, like if you're just like in a zone, you don't realize that you're actually driving yourself to insanity with this. And you could probably hotkey it, maybe. So you just like on off all your reverb and echo plugins, but it would be nice if by default, this just, when you hit pause, it turns off the feedback loop. Like, or an option to do that. It just doesn't make any sense why it should just like go through like this after you press pause. Just a quick little plump when you hit pause. I don't think I did a good enough job of that to edit it, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll show you my workaround. It's you put a gate on the track and set the sidechain to like a constant, like that. So, but the problem is the feedback is still going. So the next time you hit play, you're getting the feedback from the last time you hit play. So like, but it kind of works. It at least like saves you from absolutely losing your mind. All right, next. Vinyl distortion stereo mode. Yeah, this seems like a useless plugin unless you know what you're doing. Or you're using mono. But I really worry about all the people that have used this and not known the glaring issue with it. So if you're using vinyl distortion and it's set to stereo, oh, thank you, Synth Snail. Yeah, it's blaring issue. It's a glaring blaring issue. So the stereo mode on vinyl distortion is just mono with the one channel phase inverted. So if you mono sum afterwards, this does nothing. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on. Let me delete this. Sorry if I'm like blasting everybody's ears out. I think I am. Is that a better volume for this? So yeah, if this is mono, it cancels out vinyl distortion. I think they should just revamp what stereo does on this plugin. I honestly, like, what's the use of this unless you put a delay, like a channel delay after it? The way that stereo should work on vinyl distortion is like this. So you have one, you have a chain for each channel. Wow, I'm doing a terrible job of this. So left goes in here, right goes in here. And now if you sum this, you won't get the same cancellation. Or do you? What the hell's going on? Oh, they need to be set to mono, I think. All right, so the left channel gets its own vinyl distortion and the right channel gets its own vinyl distortion. And that shouldn't cancel out. I'll be damned if it does. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's how the stereo mode should work, in my opinion. So I've like created a custom rack for this vinyl distortion, which I use. Does anybody know like what the use of stereo mode on vinyl distortion would be if it just cancels out in mono? Like, is there some utility for it? I don't know. Anyways, that's something to watch out for if you love this plugin and you've never noticed that. There's like, anytime it comes through an iPhone, it's like deleting your plugin. All right, next up. Oh, sorry. One little add-on for this workaround is you want to map these two settings to 1 and 2. And that way you can control both at the same time. All right, next up. Chorus ensemble. Oh yeah, so the original chorus in Ableton always drove me crazy. Where is it? I can't open the original one, but I think the first tab is basically the original. Yeah, it says classic. I might be wrong, but I'm just basing it off of the chorus plugin that I've always used, which is Air Chorus. And essentially at mix 100%, it's just, let me set this to 0. It's basically just like a wow and flutter. And then you're mixing that in with the signal. And it's like a clean chorus. Like there's no, like, I don't know why there's two things going on here and you can't change them except for the rate. And anyway, so they added vibrato, which is basically what this plugin does. It's just one pitch wobbling signal. But what you can't do is on vibrato mode adjust the feedback for some reason. It's grayed out. And you can't change the dry wet. So I don't know why, but if you added these two, it would replace Air Chorus for me. But for now, I'll stick to Air Chorus. It's also really sweet for doing, and you can do this with the vibrato one now, is like just creating a 3D auto pan. So if I turn down this. Yeah, so if you set this to 0.6-ish, that's like the delay between ears. And then this rate is just how fast it changes from delay left to right, from delay right to left. And so you get like a 3D auto pan. And it's definitely not mono safe, but it's super cool. And you can feedback. And you can mix. So I can't really wrap my head around what the feedback means in this situation. I guess it's whatever the pre-delay is like I don't know. Feedback is like, I can't wrap my head around it. It's like income tax. But I think it's just feeding the output back into the input. Okay, so that's one thing I have a problem with the new vibrato, is give me that mix knob. Why not? Why not? I swear they won't add that dry wet knob. It looks like it's an impossible, like the way it's grayed out is just like it's mathematically impossible. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is okay, so I think down here now we're just getting to features with plugins that I'd like to add. I get pretty ridiculous with the EQ curves, and I end up using definitely all 8 of them. So it'll just be like this, and then I'll have like another one that's like doing like a slightly different thing, and I'll have like 3 of them in a row, and it would be nice to be able to like merge them into like an average EQ curve, just to like clean up. I don't know. I just think it would be a cool feature. It would like combine them and then use 8 bands to like approximate that curve. I don't know if anybody else has this like problem of like going insane with EQ curves, but that's just something that I thought would be cool. All right. Oh, the auto pan binaural mode. So the where is it? Time and space. Auto pan. So yeah, kind of like what I was doing with the vibrato or the Air Chorus. It would be nice if, as it's panning left to right, it added a delay between the channels. So you would get like auto pan, but like in 3D with like a Haas delay. Just like add another little knob there. It'd be sweet. 3D auto pan. Okay, that's it for plugin stuff. Next is simpler sampler. So the first one here says simpler warp tempo changer. Okay, maybe I feel like I'm just not figuring it out, but let me know. I hope everyone just says that they're also struggling with this. When you have a sample, when you have simpler open with warp mode, there's like, you can do this, I guess, and warp is 8 bars. This just, like, I don't really know how to use this, and it would be nice if it just had a BPM thing, like when you have the sample in the sample editor. I just want, why isn't this working? Whoa, what did they do? Oh yeah, I just want this in simpler. Oh yeah, my keyboard's in the way. True. Thank you for the note. Yeah, so in the sample editor, you just drag the BPM box to stretch and whatever, or alt drag or shift drag. But in the simpler, you have to like crop the clip and warp it as 4 bars. And then there's like, I don't know, it switches to 2 bars. And I don't understand. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Do I need to redo the one with the chorus, the air chorus? Ah, geez, I really screwed that up. Maybe I'll just hide my keyboard when I'm not playing it, right? Okay. Yeah, it would be nice if there was just like a stretch handle on the end. But if anybody knows like how to use this, or if there's just like I'm just stupid. I don't know. Yeah, that one bugs me. Zone editor speaker on off automation. So yeah, in the sampler, in zone, a lot of the time it would save me so much trouble with the live show if I could automate these speakers, and you can't. And it would just like fix so many things with having to use like weird, like I've done things where I have like the sample selector, I run out of sample selectors and then I have to use velocity. And then the way I do that is set it to a velocity and use a MIDI effect to set the constant velocity in as like an additional sample selector. But then you can't do velocity. I don't know. So I'm pretty sure that's, oh, thank you, Lochuno. I think that's why I wanted this, but it's been so long since I opened the live show. I don't even know why, actually. But I know that this would like save a lot, and I think it's easy to add. Okay, next one. Oh, pitch bend range for simpler. It's so weird that there's like warp mode in simpler, but not in sampler. And like when you go to sampler, you get the pitch bend range, but if you're in simpler, you don't get pitch bend range. Am I incorrect about that? Like, I haven't been able to find pitch bend range in simpler. It's just stuck at 5 semitones or whatever it is. And usually for that reason, I'll like switch to sampler. That's actually probably the only reason I switch to sampler, unless I'm trying to do like weird stuff with with the matrixing. So yeah, and then you lose warp mode. So sometimes I'm just like stuck. Like I think I'll automate the transpose, which I'll get to. I think that might be the next one. No, it's not. Okay, we'll get to that though. I have a note about that for sure. Replacing clip on simpler resets splice mode. Okay, let me know if you guys think this should be how it is or not. If I set this to region and put in a number of regions, and I want to replace this sample, it'll just go back to transient 100%. Or if this is like transient 25%, it'll go back to transient 100%. So I don't think that should reset. Especially when you like I always have to undo to figure out what slice thing I had is set to, like if it was 31 or 34. I don't know. That's I haven't even that's I think it's been a long time since I noticed that, but it was on my list, so I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. Sampler reverse option affects all sample layers. Right, so if you're in sampler and you have a bunch of different things in here, you can't reverse one of the samples. It just turns on reverse for the entire rack. Meanwhile, you can set the volume different and the pan different, but reverse just stays on. I think this should be per layer. All right. Next one, sample key detection. Right. The plugin's broken now, but there's this plugin that I used in Pro Tools because there's no built-in sampler called Short Circuit. As you can see, it's a beautiful user interface. It's this, I could probably find a photo of it, but anyways, you can look it up if you want. It's called Short Circuit. It has this crazy matrix where you can like map time in seconds to loop length and stuff like that. Like basically there's like 40 different options, so you can do a lot with it, except for now because it's white. But one thing that it did really well is if you were dragging in multi-samples from, let me see, from like something like this. This isn't really the best because there's like multiple per note, but if you had all the, say, Arco normal piano, right, if you're dragging in like G3, G4, G5, G6, G7 into Short Circuit, it would automatically detect the root keys in the file name and like set it up automatically. And it is such a pain in sampler to do it by hand. Especially like in the live show, I'll bounce out, let's see if I go piano. So here's like, oh, that's not very good. Let's see. That's not good either. Okay, so here I have like piano notes labeled as the, sorry if that was deafening. I don't know. I guess it didn't go through the stream. Yeah, I should be able to recognize F3, C2, and I don't know how Short Circuit does it, but it does do that. So if you drag this into Short Circuit, it'll automatically root key all the notes. I guess you could, and I think it's only when you drag in multiple samples with key names. So if you were to like drag in this, it wouldn't do the, like it wouldn't find F2 accidentally in a sample. And so like what you end up having to do is like, I label them so that when I get into sampler, I can go B flat 3, A flat 3, F3, and like do this for each note, and then like right click, distribute around root key. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Okay, so that's it for simpler sampler stuff. Now we can look at arranging. I just titled it arranging because it was like everything in this area of the screen. So, oh, okay. This to me is like ridiculous that it's like even a thing. So if you have, unless I'd be surprised, but please tell me if there's an honest use for this. If you add an automation lane for something, you can keep adding automation lanes for the same parameter. And especially when you're automating a lot of things and you're just trying to like see all the parameters that you have, or like between 4 and you don't realize that like 3 of them are the same parameter, it gets really annoying. And it doesn't make any sense why that would even be possible. So yeah, I run into this all the time, and please fix this. Undoing bulk repitching. If repitched using arrow keys creates an undo for each individual clip. Right. So if you take this, let's split this into individual clips. If you were to repitch these all at once by clicking and dragging like this, when you undo, it undoes the entire operation. So it counts as one operation. But if you want to repitch, say, 4 semitones and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, you've now created like what? 32 undo commands. So like every time I undo, it's hard to see. Let me zoom in to show exactly what I mean. So if I repitch these with the arrow keys, up 7 semitones. When I undo, you have to go through each one by one, and it's so annoying. Especially if you do it by accident, because you can't go back if you do it by accident. If you're just like, oh shoot, and then you have to sit there like, there's nothing else you can do but sit there and jam on your keyboard. All right, that's that's one. Okay, next one is transpose automation lane zoom on horizontal mouse movement. I have to read that again. Transpose automation. Oh yeah, all right. So if you're in the sampler and you open up transpose, it opens up this weird scale thing, and it drives me crazy because the only way to use it is to expand the automation lane out like this. And even then, like, it's stuck to these values, but you can technically have values in between. Like, it's super weird. Like, look at this. And I think you can curve it though. Like, the whole thing just seems broken. And what I would really like to see is if the same way you can move this zoom in out vertically and horizontal movement, it would be nice if you could add a horizontal movement to adjust the zoom of this. And maybe decimal values for the transpose. It just seems weird that you can have curves, but you can't. Can you edit the values? 16.5? No. It's super weird. Every time I open this, it's like opening something from the 90s. All right. Can't solo a track within a deactivated group. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So if you have a group, wow, and the group is off and you try to solo one of the tracks, it won't play. And I think it should, right? What is the use of this? Like, it should just solo the track. I don't know why, what would be the point of like not soloing it in this moment, but if I have something turned off, I have to like solo it and then turn on the group to hear it and turn off the group and then unsolo it. So that's something I notice a lot. All right, so next I think we're getting into features more, or like wish list type stuff. Crossfade, ease in, ease out options. So in Pro Tools, coming from the fade window in Pro Tools, let me get a picture of this. It's pretty archaic, but it's also pretty awesome. So you can select the curve of the out and the in. So you can have linear, you can have ease in, you can have ease in, ease out. And you can set, this is actually where Ableton kind of has a what is it? A step up, a foot up, where you only have equal gain, equal power. But in Ableton, you have, more control, which is nice. A leg up, that's what I'm thinking of. Whoa, that's glitchy. I feel like that's that might be a beta issue. right? I have never, that feels really weird to me. Whoa. Okay, well, that's another thing. Your fade handles are glitchy. Right, so if you're doing a crossfade, you don't have any choice but to have kind of this ease in, ease out shape. And you can move it up and down, but it's always going to ease in, ease out. It'd be nice if you could like right click on this. Whoa, this is glitchy. This is new. Anyways, it'd be nice if you could right click on this and go ease in, ease out or something. I don't know what the workaround is, but it would be nice, especially when you're fading out something, to be able to have a sharp curve down like this. The same way, like usually what I do is if I want to fade out something and I want it specifically to do this, I'll just use a volume automation or a utility gain automation. So yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do that. And especially between tracks, like have one that fades out fast and one that fades in. So basically one track would do this and the other track would do this. All right, that covers fades. Automation cleanup tool. This would be so cool. I feel like a lot of these features, I hope I can get you on board. But like to me, an automation tool would mean if you have duplicate points that are non-effectual, I guess, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but they're not affecting the automation. They're just there as null points. It'd be nice if you could clean that up and it just deletes any points that aren't affecting the automation curve. Really, that's not affecting CPUs so much as like when you have one that's like this. It would be nice if the cleanup tool could clean up within a threshold, like of a percent. It's like simplify automation. Oh shit, I might have to cancel what I'm saying. Simplify envelope. Oh my god. Leslie, what the hell? Dude. Leslie, holy crap. It's like a dream come true. Wow, and it even like it gets rid of this. Whoa. I wonder how many of these things that I've listed so far have like weird workarounds. That is so sweet. Will it clean up that? What will it do with that? Okay, that is sweet. That is so nice. Okay, good to know. I wish you could, well, maybe you could. Maybe you just show all automations, select your whole, does it work with multiple lanes? Like if you have this going on, let's see. Can I select that? Da da da. Wow, it does them all. Oh my god. That's such a relief. I didn't get these though. Maybe it doesn't work with multiple. Okay, you have to do it per... Oh, no. That's just too different, I guess, for it to simplify. I don't know. Well, that's sweet. That's two things. What's the other one that I found out actually existed? Well, I'm going to take this moment to see if I can get the MIDI gate thing to break. Oh, I got it. Okay. So, works, but if you hit full velocity, it'll cut out on gate mode. I got it to work. I got it not to work. That's sweet. All right, let me do a good intro of this. So if you're on clip mode, it's fine. But if you set to gate mode, full velocity notes cut out for some reason. And so what I do with the push because I want to have a threshold, is make another velocity effect and set the high out just one below 127, and that fixes the problem. But yeah, I have this on like, I have this before every push drum rack, like this. All right. And it would be nice to have a threshold setting built into the push so that I don't have to do that at all. All right. That is sweet. Oh, and this is so sweet. It's so nice. The automation cleanup. Success. All right. Snowball effect when Control D. I don't know if anybody used Pro Tools, but I assume it's the same as some other DAWs. When you, let me do it like this. When you duplicate something in Pro Tools, oh, that was a bad. Let's see. Let me get a good example. Right, so if I duplicate this, oh my God. It won't include the silence with the selection. It'll kind of just paste it as if the silence is not part of the selection. So that to me is like, doesn't drive me crazy so much anymore, but it would be nice as an option to include silence. And one of the main reasons for this is when you're duplicating, say you have a kick drum pattern where it's like all fours and you have like an extra little like note in there, and you want to just duplicate this over that section, it at least when it hits this part, not snowball the selection to the next place. So it has this like weird snowball effect. And I could even add like another one in here, and you can see how it starts to just collect what's there and, and like pull it with it. So it should at least maintain what that original selection was. But yeah, an include silence option would be sweet. All right, next is repitching tempo change should maintain crossfades by extending endpoints of clips. So this one is, I have to read it again. My brain's like in a fog. Repitching tempo change, right? So if you have, let me get a better sample out. If you have a sample like this and you have a little crossfade here, this just feels normal to me now. If you speed up these clips without warp on, wow, I don't know if it's worth it to have this file preview thing, because that auto warping stuff is really annoying. Anyways, yeah, if you have a, let me fix this. If you have a crossfade here, even though this sample extends past this crop point, if you now speed up these samples, it'll immediately break that fade. And it would be nice if it at least maintained the fade for a little bit by extending the end of this clip. Especially when you're like just trying to speed up your song and it breaks all of the, or slow down your song and it breaks all of your crossfades. How it would work is sort of like if this marker is extended, I think, and then when you slow down your song, it maintains that crossfade. And the same with speeding up the sample. And it should I guess it should break after a while. Like maybe before it reaches the end of the sample, but maybe not. Maybe it just goes until it reaches the end and then breaks. To me, that seems like the best way this should work. Yeah, sometimes I edit these files by accident and change the date modified on these samples, but I have like a file attribute changer because it's the best way for me to find these samples because they're always at the start of my browser. All right, yeah, that's the crossfade thing. I don't know if anybody else feels that one, but I definitely notice that all the time. Mirrored MIDI clips. This is something that's that is from Pro Tools, and I think it would be sweet in Ableton. Basically, a mirrored MIDI clip is like sort of the way that the loop function works in Ableton, whereas if you change one of these, it changes the other notes in the loop. But MIDI mirror would work even if this clip is separated from this one. And that would be helpful if you're trying to change the MIDI of one section. And I guess mirrored clips would just have an icon on them to indicate that they're paired with more clips in the arrangement. So it'd just be like a little option here, like mirror, MIDI mirror. And this would become a mirrored MIDI clip that you could like paste all over your song and be able to change the... I feel like it might already be a feature somewhere in here. Like linked loop. Maybe this is it, you know? I might really just be making a fool of myself right now. But I'm pretty sure it's not a feature. All right, hotkey to move transport to next transient. This is another thing from Pro Tools that I definitely wrote this down when I switched to Ableton and haven't really missed it after a certain point. But in Pro Tools, when you hit tab, which I guess they can't use that because it's like the fundamental Ableton key, but when you hit tab in Pro Tools, it'll move the transport to the start of the next MIDI note. And it's really useful for like if you have an unquantized performance and you want to crop it at the start of a note that's not on a grid line, you can just hit the key, which is tab in Pro Tools, and it'll set your transport on the edge of that note, and you can split the clip and delete it. And then this function also works for let me get a file. It also works for audio, so it'll jump to the next transient when you press a note. So this might, I feel like this has to be a feature, but it's not. So you'd like hit, oh, that's not a good key. You'd hit a key and it would jump to this transient and allow you to like split the clip, even if the transient wasn't on a bar line. So that's really useful feature. Does anyone else have the slight annoyance where whenever your playhead is over the audio clip, the clip view on the bottom doesn't show the clip selection, but is super zoomed in? Yes. And I think I had that on my original list, that it should zoom. I was like, what is this note? But I think it's fixed now. Like that's pretty good. I think that's why I removed it from my list, because I thought they fixed it. Okay. Next one is, I haven't talked this much in months, so my throat's getting sore. It's kind of weird. This is also a weird stream with like almost no audio. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. Next transient or MIDI note hotkey. All right. Hiding tracks, tagging, and groups. I guess tagging and groups aren't as important as hiding tracks, which please add this. Like to be able to right click hide tracks would be so sweet. I don't know where they would go. Like I don't know where you'd be able to turn them back on. Or no, that's not a good idea. Well, I think just, yeah, I don't know if it can be implemented just because of the layout of Ableton, but I always want to hide tracks. Also in Pro Tools, what there is are groups. And so you can select all your percussion files and add them to a group without actually like putting them inside a group. And then you have like different visibility groups. So you can like hide all the drums, hide all the certain things. It really improves workflow. But it's been so long since I've been in Pro Tools that I'm kind of used to this now. So, but yeah. uh, track additioning. I don't know what this is called. I just tried to guess, but this is another one from Pro Tools. Basically, like the way you have the preview speaker up here, um, in Pro Tools, you can play individual files, sort of like soloing them, and you can just hear. It's super annoying when you have like when you're working on a section and you have oh geez, when you have like a bunch of stuff soloed, but you want to hear one of the tracks and you don't want to remove your soloed groups because like you'll just forget which tracks you had soloed and how you were working. So like it's nice when you have a bunch of stuff soloed to be able to solo again one of the tracks that's soloed. And so you basically like in Pro Tools, I think it's Alt and you click on, or maybe it's just like one of the tools up here, like a speaker tool, and you can kind of drag and play the track, and you can play in reverse, which is super cool. Just by like, and it chases your cursor, so you kind of click and drag, and it catches up with your mouse. All right. Insert noise and tone tool. Okay, this is another one from Pro Tools. These are just getting kind of Pro Toolsy, but it's super annoying, like having to download white noise from weird websites just to have white noise in Ableton. It'd be nice if you could select a blank portion of audio and go create, insert noise, or insert a tone, and you could insert like a square wave at 200 hertz. I think that's needed. All right, swing amount directly on arrangement grid. When I'm working in shuffled songs, there's like really nothing else you can do if you're working with audio, but to just kind of like guess where the like hats will fall. And like it's kind of nice, but it would be nice if you could just select a swing amount of the grid and it would shift every second 16th note over however much the swing note, or however whatever the amount of the swing is. Having like a static grid like this when you're working in like a doom kind of song, that would, yeah, it would be nice to have that. Wait, what do you mean I missed the swing on audio editing? I have a feeling this is just something that you can do. Did it used to be a feature, or are you coming from like FL Studio or something? There's no way it's a feature. It's not there. Yeah, and like really it should work with all grooves. I don't know if that would really work since some of these are like more like rhythms. But at least, yeah, swing amount on the grid is needed. Mix compare mode. Oh yeah, I always like especially when I'm mixing, I think this would be so sick, and I feel like it might exist in other programs, or maybe it exists in Live. I don't know, but it'd be nice to have different versions of your mix, and so you could create a new version, do a mix, and even be able to adjust EQ curves. And so it would like save your parameter settings and then be able to like flip back to your original mix and the new mix. And in mix compare mode, like you wouldn't be able to add plugins. Like it would just stop you with like a dialog box, because it would just make it too complicated, I think, to switch between. Basically, it would be like switching between project files. But it'd be nice, yeah, be able to compare your hour of mixing work to what it sounded like before and make sure you didn't ruin it. And I think ooh. Would you care to say a few words on collapsing horizontal space? Collapsing horizontal space. As in removing silence in the arrangement? I don't even know what that means. Collapsing horizontal. There is delete time. you go delete time. Like collapse your chorus. Oh, I know what you mean. Like just hide parts of the arrangement. Like, you know what you can do? It's kind of sketchy. I don't know if it for you if it's a visual thing or you want to be able to just switch um, from like just skip over a section when you press play. But technically, you could create a. This is what I do in the live show. Actually, you can create a MIDI clip, and that MIDI note is sent through loopback, which is MIDI mapped to this marker, and then it'll just play through this section. But yeah, I agree. I never got used to that because I didn't use FL Studio. Or Reason, I guess is what you're saying. Yeah. Basically, this whole stream is like turning Ableton. If I got my way, if I could get all these added, it would be like the most bloated program ever. um, all right, next one is smart freezing. Please add this. This is like if you have a sick trumpet line here, and then 20 minutes later you have the same sick trumpet line, and you freeze this track, it'll create an audio file, I guess from here, and it'll just render out all this silence and create this like, I don't know, 40 gigabyte wave file for no reason, instead of just creating two separate wave files. So smart freeze would be sweet, where it just skips over stuff that has no signal. And the other thing is, really, if I imagine you have a kick drum, I don't know why I need a kick, but imagine you have like a kick drum pattern over your whole song, and it's the same kick drum with the same processing. As it's freezing, it just compares signal, and if it finds like a duplicate waveform, then it will just like use the same piece that it already froze. And so like basically, if you froze this track, like right now it would just create this long wave file, but if you froze this track with smart freeze, it would just render out one bit and apply it to all the matching waveforms. Yeah, smart freeze. I'm sure lots of people have thought of that. All right, that's the end of the arranging section. Next is window. I don't know why it's called window. I think it was everything like on kind of the outside of Ableton. I don't know like if it would have to process them or if it could use, because I don't think it would actually have to compare the waveform. I think it would just know that this is the same file and that the kind of processing you're using wouldn't affect the waveform any differently. I don't know, like there could be some like just calculatable way of doing that where it's not just comparing the, like especially for this, like all those kick drums are going to be exactly the same when you freeze them. So yeah, that part I'm not sure if that's possible, but definitely should skip over silence. There's also this thing I just remembered in Pro Tools, and I've heard multiple people say that they want this in Ableton. Why is that disabled? What? Basically, you'd select this. Maybe they added it by now. You'd go edit, trim silence, and it would remove any parts of the audio that are silent, and you can select the threshold as well. So it's kind of like a gate, but it cleans up, especially when you're like importing remix stems and like everything's just like a giant block like this. The trim silence thing is like absolutely necessary, I think. So yeah, trim silence is another feature we need. I'm gonna add that right here. Trim silence. Okay. Next, track reorder load times. So I brought this up. I did like a Zoom call with a bunch of, there's like 60 or 70 people in this Zoom call while they showed off Ableton 11. And I brought this up. Somebody was like saying that I don't have a fast enough computer or something, which is probably true. But I also think that a lot of people know exactly what I'm talking about. So please tell me if you've experienced this. Yeah, I was at Ableton Loop in 2018 and I was talking to one of the developers and he was saying like because of the way that they programmed live, that the like substructure of the program can't be changed because everything's just been like they'd have to reprogram the whole program to change like certain things about it. And one of them was the way that wow, I don't know if that blew out everybody's ears, but I hope not. The way that the the order of tracks is like specifically calculated or something. That was like one of the audio tracks. Like it's set to off, but when you load up the project file, it's set to monitor in for like a split second. Fix that one. That's another one. So so if I take like these tracks and try and move them, I have to wait for that. And this is a pretty small song, so like the wait time is like, see how it's reloading the plugin? This is what the Ableton guy that I talked to said, that like it has to reload everything and to create a new order of tracks in Ableton, and that like that's what the entire program's built off of, so they can't fix it. But you should at least try. If you have like 150 tracks and it's like a really heavy project file, like, or a live set that's like really bloated, like I've waited for like probably 2 or 3 minutes for one, just to move one track up. And if you're trying to like arrange your song and move stuff around, it's a pain in the ass. And then the other thing is when you drag I guess it'll be like this. When you drag a track up, especially on big project files, this scroll speed's just not enough. It's hard to see right here, but like I hate waiting for this to go up, and I don't like putting it on my clipboard and pasting it because it just feels scary to do that. But that's kind of the way that people rearrange tracks in Ableton. But I don't like having something just disappear and just be on my clipboard. So, and even that takes a while to paste. I think I'm gonna get to that. So I'll just, oh yeah. So the vertical scroll speed in Ableton is super slow. And the only reason it looks normal on my computer is because I have my system mouse settings set to scroll 8 lines at a time. And this makes like everything else impossible, like Notepad, because it's scrolling like crazy. I've gotten used to it, but like I just prioritize Ableton. But it scrolls like this for each scroll wheel click. And so you have to like on normal mouse wheel settings. So it should just default be this fast, I think, and you shouldn't even be able to change it. But maybe have a setting for vertical scroll speed. This feels okay to me, but I'm also like balancing it. I think it would be a little higher, but if I put it any higher, it makes like internet browsing completely impossible. All right, next one. Oh, ability to change frozen track color. This is just kind of like a OCD thing, but when I'm like coloring my projects and I want to freeze a track, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Whoopsie. I'll just make a new audio track, and I want to freeze something. Okay, well, this is a bad example because it's blue, but if these are all like shades of yellow, and I want this to be yellow, changing the track color doesn't change it. And it would be nice if it changed yellow, and the frozen kind of bar across changed yellow as well. It just, yeah, it bugs me to see like a frozen track within a bunch of yellow. And what I usually do is whatever like yellow signifies, I'll just change everything to like some blue color so that it doesn't stand out as much. All right. Lastly is MIDI editor notes. So play selection doesn't work when in multiple MIDI clip mode. Yeah, okay. So this one, if you open up a single MIDI clip, and I think they're really trying to things with this. So this should be a useful note. Also, actually, I'll start off by explaining what Pro Tools looks like by default. Basically, if you open up a MIDI clip in Pro Tools and you zoom out, you can always zoom out to like where it is in the session in the MIDI editor, and it looks like this. And this is sweet to have now because this is what I've always written MIDI in. Or not always, but this is what I learned to write MIDI in, this kind of workflow. But the one thing that they didn't implement is when you have an individual clip, you can play from selection with control space. Sorry, I'm blowing at everybody's ears, I know. Sorry. Holy smokes. It's like overdrive on the master. So yeah, you can always do this, which is annoying. Like, it should just automatically play from selection in the MIDI editor. I don't know why that would be a thing, but come on, just let me do that anyway. I'm used to control space now, like it's second nature. But this is my note. When you have multiple MIDI clips selected, that feature doesn't work. You can't play from selection, meaning that this whole thing is useless to me. All right, next one. Adjusting length of multiple notes stops when selected note reaches 0. Right, so if you are trying to make all these notes... Wait. Oh, no. For a second I thought they fixed it. If you're trying to make all these notes the same length, what you have to do is find the longest note, drag it to 0, and then drag it out. But if you don't select the longest note, it caps out when that note reaches 0. And so then you have to like select the longest note again and keep doing it until all of them are nothing and then drag them out. So I think if you're doing this move, after the note you're selecting reaches 0, it should continue to get smaller and not cap out there. All right. Bulk velocity editing is scaled wrong. This one is so annoying. But please tell me if you prefer it the way that it is. But I'd be surprised if anyone prefers it the way that it is. So if you have a note at full velocity, or I'll just, for this scenario, we'll have a note at full velocity and a note at like pretty low velocity. And you're bulk adjusting the velocity, it's set as like proportional between notes. So that when this one is half the volume, the low velocity one is also half the volume that it was at. And this makes like turning up performance with, it's not even a logarithmic scale. I said the scale is wrong, but it's really just the way it's calculating it. It should be that a 10 point reduction in the velocity of this note should also be a 10-point reduction in this note. And the reason that you don't want to have it like this is if you're trying to turn down a performance and some of your notes are quiet, you're changing performance when you do this. And ideally you'd want to maintain the relationship between velocities. So it should not stretch like this. It should just move down as one unit. And when the lower velocities reach 0, it just stays there. Yeah, it's not even a curve or anything. It's basically just like skewing the image of the velocities. So that to me is a no-brainer. But if anybody else prefers it that way, let me know. I don't see the utility in that. Option to always play from insert mark. Yeah, so that's, I was kind of saying earlier. It should just, whatever, because you can see if you're in this view, your insert mark, as you can see, it says arrangement playback begins from the insert marker, which it does. Unless you're in the MIDI editor, then this insert marker doesn't play from there. So I think if it's gonna stay like this, where you have to always play from selection, at least have like an option that's like always play from insert marker or something. Okay. Next is quantize randomize. Yeah, so they added this. I don't even know how to do it. It's control. Yeah. So they added this velocity probability or velocity random thing, and also just the probability that the note is triggered thing. But what would be nice is if you have a unquantized performance and you want to quantize each note. I guess actually this is different, but right now you can like half quantize something, so just like straighten it out a bit. But it would be nice if in the quantized settings there was also a random where like it shifts the notes a percentage chance random. I don't know how to describe it, but basically the higher the percentage of random, the more that the notes could deviate from the quantized grid. And I know a lot of other MIDI editors have this feature. Yeah, it's kind of like a way of humanizing the performance. If you have if you are just programming a bass line with a pencil and you want to like add a bit of human randomness, you can. All right, that's the end of my list. If you guys know any things that you've found or that just bug you, I know a couple people mentioned some things, but probably there's something I'm forgetting that we're all struggling with. Oh, true. Yeah, a swing groove or like a straight groove. Like some of these grooves, I feel like, what happened to the grooves? That's different. I feel like we don't need swing 55% and MPC swing 50% and Logic swing 50%. Like, are they different, or is it just some weird like obsession with having the Logic swing? Like, swing is swing, right? Like there's no, I can see like these Roomba shaker, Roomba bongo things, but like the percent swings, why are there MPC swings? Anyways, oh yeah, so this 8, 16, 32, yeah, 16 quantize, and then random. Yeah, that works, I guess. That's a workaround. That's not the fix. If you freeze a track, you can copy and paste the audio into a new track and then unfreeze the original. Yeah. I don't know what that was a... Oh, bounce instead of freeze flatten. Yeah. Also, this is just something very Pro Tools specific, but you can select audio in Pro Tools and then go up to Audio Suite and open up an EQ8, but in a separate window, and just go render. The same way you could go like open this, and it would be like on the selection too. So you can add reverb to like a selection of the audio, which is super cool. But it's the same as like opening it up in RX3. This is how I do it now. So I'll open the file like this, select audio, and then you can add diffuser delay to that selection. And even selections horizontally or vertically, which is cool. You can't do that in Pro Tools. All right. I'm going to go use the washroom. I feel like that's rare unless I'm doing the long streams. Anyway, be right back. So yesterday I found this, it was like one of my notes that I really wanted added. And so I was just like, I'm gonna just try and figure out maybe it's a thing. And it was. And then I went back and checked Ableton 10 and it was also a thing. If you hold, maybe I have to hide this. Okay, if you select a bunch of notes and you hold control, no, whoa, did I dream this? Maybe I dreamt it. What? It was definitely control. Yo, did they remove it? Maybe they removed it. Oh, the open sample with RX is you just, in preferences, you can set a default audio editor. Right here, sample editor, and you just set it to RX3. This is driving me crazy. I am going to check in Live 10. Anyways, I drew a straight line across these because like oh, I'm not in draw mode. That's what it is. Okay. I got this. I hope I blow everybody's mind with this, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows. So in draw mode, like this, basically for the longest time, I've just been like doing this to draw a straight line, but you can hold control. Look at that. I had no idea this was a thing and I always wanted it. It also looks like so Live 11, but it works in earlier versions. Like this dotted line feels so new. It's so weird to see marching ants in Ableton. When I found this yesterday, I freaked out. All right. Sorry for the lack of music stream today. I just thought that I'd do this instead of just making the video alone. I hope that some of you learned some new things just by me running through the insides of this program. And I definitely didn't do like a 11 sneak peek preview or anything. So maybe tomorrow I will. I'm hesitant to like spend any time in the program while it's in beta, but I think it's I think it's safe, really. Like I don't think it's that unstable, but maybe. I learned to stay using Logic, thanks. Definitely stop using Logic. You definitely want to be in Ableton, honestly. Ooh, enough new features in 11 to warrant the price. I'd say so. The upgrade price is what, like $200? It's kind of like ransom, like this is what we use to make music, and like it doesn't really make sense to stay in an older version of the software if this is what you do. Like it's kind of like if you're cutting hair, you want to have a good pair of scissors if that's what you're doing for a living, or if that's like what you care about. So I think just tool wise, you need to have whatever the tool is. But if you're, I mean, like you can steal it if it's really not worth it, or you really can't afford it. I think Ableton purposely makes it easier to steal these, like steal Ableton than, like if you ever try and steal Pro Tools, it's like, it's insane. Like they have these USB key lock things that you need. Like they've done so much to like make it really impossible to torrent. But Ableton, I asked them, I was like, did you guys make it really easy to torrent so that it would become like the standard program? And I think they did. They wouldn't admit it, but there's like almost, it's like probably the easiest thing to torrent. Yeah, I had a torrented version when I got to Ableton Loop 2018, and they were like immediately gave me a legit copy because they couldn't stand to see that, or like risk, I don't know, some weird thing, because like my screen was being streamed in front of their audience, so they definitely didn't want me with like an illegitimate copy of the program. I think they just asked me, and I said like, no, I didn't buy it. I'm pretty sure like 95% of Ableton users didn't buy Ableton. If I had to guess, it's probably something like that. But that's what makes Ableton Ableton. That's why it's like a standard. If they had all this iLok crap and stuff, I don't think it would be as popular as it is. Also, they're selling hardware. They're selling push and stuff. So I don't think they're worried about their the money from the software, because a lot of people are buying pushes and and other things. Launchpad is not. Launchpad's Novation. I feel like they teamed up with Ableton. I don't know. Whatever. I love my push. I only use it live though. I don't use it for creation. I think it's kind of a ridiculous creative tool, but I think some people do use it. Especially if you play guitar, the layout is a lot more intuitive. Like you can actually like learn to play the push like an instrument. But for me, like it doesn't make any sense. So I just stick to my keyboard, which works, and everything else I can do with keyboard and mouse. So it's not much of a device for producing, but I use it live, and it's awesome in the live show. So I'm gonna try and edit this down now. It's gonna be a bit of a task. I always like don't know if I should get rid of all my likes and ums. Every time like I say Oh, I mean the actual new Ableton walkthrough is pretty fast if I rush through it. Basically the new stock plugins are, they merged chorus, and I don't even know if there was an ensemble, but now you have chorus, ensemble, and vibrato, which is broken, the vibrato part, which I went through. And they merged the phaser flanger, and they added a doubler, which is nice. Then these are the new ones, which are, I haven't played around with them enough to know like weird ways of using them, but the spectral resonator and spectral time plugins are new. I'll put it on the master so you can hear. Also, I couldn't. When they did the demo, they had it stuck at 50%, which was super annoying. There we go. No, that's not it. Tilt. Basically, it's creating a delay. Why can I still hear this input send? What? Why can I hear the dry signal still? Well, we'll have to. That seems wrong. Anyways, yeah, this probably has a lot of tools, or a lot of ways of using this tool. I think there is, maybe it's not this one, but there was an octave. Also, you can freeze. Check it out. It might have been the spectral resonator that you could do an octave shift on, not this one. So oh geez, wow, this doesn't seem right. I wasn't paying attention. I felt like I slept in class. Sick. Well, that's one of them. And then I don't think resonator is just resonator. Then they added a new reverb. Which, wow, that's a CPU thing. Basically, you have impulse responses in Ableton stock plugin for the first time. And they said they're going to add like 300 in the final version. So this is just the IR, which sounds awesome. And then the second part of it is like just a normal reverb plugin, but they've added some more algorithms. He was explaining what each one is. Anyways, yeah, it's cool. And you can blend between them, or you can set them in. Yeah, right, this is in serial, so they're, and then there's parallel. And I don't think I didn't hear them. I guess this blends them algorithmically. No. This is just the convolution, just the algorithm. Okay. So there's, yeah, series parallel or one of each. And that's it for the stock plugins. And the rest is probably, I mean, everything's, you can watch the product videos on YouTube. It's pretty much all there. I think there was a couple things that I didn't see mentioned in any of the videos, like kind of small fixes. Like, this is a huge one. Pitch bend no longer gets stuck at the end of MIDI clips if the pitch bend is like up when the clip ends, which is so nice. They were like demoing Ableton yesterday in Zoom, and like that was the moment where everyone freaked out. And like meanwhile they're trying to get everyone excited about hybrid reverb and like merging the chorus and whatever. But like when they I asked them, I was like, did you guys fix the pitch bend thing? And they're like, yes, we fixed the pitch bend. And the whole chat and like everyone on their mics just like erupted. It was hilarious. That's actually like how they should have marketed Ableton 11. I'm pretty sure most people will pay $200 to have that. And I should be on their marketing team pushing that. That's literally all they needed to say, was that they fixed the sticky pitch bend in MIDI. And everyone's going to buy the new Ableton. I have to tell them. I just realized. Nobody cares about the new reverb. I mean, it's nice, but no one really cares. Like, people want to pay for something that they've wanted for a long time. So, oh yeah, you can see it on. They changed Corpus. and they changed the other one, which, why isn't it? Oh yeah, it's a plugin. Corpus, and they changed tension, I think, as well. Nope, tension's still nasty. Wow. I hope they fix tension too, because this is one of the nastiest plugins ever created. Electric, yeah, they changed electric and collision, right? They have to have changed collision because it's the same as corpus. Yeah, so they changed those ones. They should really change tension too. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope to see you the next time I stream, which is maybe tomorrow. My throat hurts. That was a lot of talking. Okay. See ya.